You're listening to the Sponsorship Experts podcast, and we're joined by Paul Poole, Managing Director of Paul Poole Southeast Asia Co Limited and founder of the Sponsorship Experts podcast. In this episode, we're going to look forward to what's happening in the coming weeks. So let's dive straight in. Without further ado, let's dive into the newsletter. 2024 is looking seriously busy already. There's a huge list of events that are in the newsletter which people can get from paulpoole.co.th. But some of them really kind of popped out at me, so I want to talk in a bit more depth about those. The one that really surprised me, and maybe it shouldn't have, but also impressed me, was the Women's Volleyball Nations League. There's, over the course of that competition, there's going to be 500,000 people see it live, and 1 billion people will watch it on the telly.
Yeah. So the Women's Volleyball Nations League see 16 of the world's best volleyball teams compete over 8 weeks and play 96 matches. But if you look at this year's Women's Volleyball Nations League Thailand that happened here in June for the very first time, the 4 tie matches sold out within 90 minutes. And the stadium held 8,000 people. But what was more impressive was that live on Channel 7 here in Thailand, 5 million Thais tuned in to watch each tie match live.
Oh, amazing.
So it's a really strong sport. It's actually the 4th most spent on, in terms of sponsorship spend, sport in Thailand right now. Football being number 1, of course. Who were the sponsors so far, and what's the demographic that they're looking to? Okay, so we were very fortunate to have sold the title sponsorship in the first year to the Electrolyte brand sponsor, local brand.
Hang on, I better explain. The brand's actually called Sponsor. And it can be quite confusing unless you pronounce it in the way that it's pronounced in Thai, which is sponsor. So it's like, who's the sponsor for this? Sponsor. Okay, I know exactly who you mean now. So you've got sponsor.
So sponsor really saw the strength of women's volleyball, particularly because of the success of the women's national team. Who are successful on the court. They're also very engaging on social media, so have a huge fan base here locally.
That's so important, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The players themselves are getting that going.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be good. You've got to perform on the pitch, but or on the court. But you have to have everything to engage with fans. And Sponsor really did activate their sponsorship. So, they had some great activity going on in the fan zone that was open to the general public, as well as the people with tickets to watch the matches. And then during the breaks in the matches, they had this huge volleyball going around the stadium during the activation time, which was fantastic.
Bit trippy.
Yes, it was great.
I love how I like that though. So that's the Women's Volleyball Nations League, and the big news is, of course, that this year Thailand is the host.
So this year 2023 was a pool event. So it was one of the 96 matches, or one of the 8 weeks of tournament. But the big news is 2024 Thailand will play host to the Women's Volleyball Nations League finals here, which is fantastic. Also, the really fantastic point is that as Thailand is the host country, the Thai national team will automatically qualify. So they'll be one of the 8 teams competing in the finals.
So it's like the World Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, the host nation gets to play.
Correct. So Thailand, who haven't played in the finals yet, will play in the finals in 2024.
Wow, how exciting!
Yeah,
for the athletes as well. I mean, they know they're going to be in the playoffs. So.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is an event that has been in my past close to my heart, the Thailand International Boat Show. And because I've DJ'd it, and it was great. So I know it quite well, but I know that I wouldn't recognise it now. It's grown massively in the last few years. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, so we've been involved in all of the yacht and boat shows in Thailand over the past 19 years. And they've more or less stayed the same format, but they've changed owners, they've changed names, they've changed destination. So in January 23, so earlier this year, the Thailand International Boat Show took place at Royal Phuket Marina under the ownership of new rights holders Jand Events, or Jand Group, and was implemented by Jand Events. And this has grown for 2024. So in January 11th to the 14th, we'll be at Royal Phuket Marina again for the Thailand International Boat Show.
Yeah, I just I saw in the newsletter that I don't know whether you were just about to say that, so sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
But the one that blew me away was the Rob Report, which is basically the Millionaires magazine. I didn't even know about it until I knew some wealthy people. Oh yeah, you should read. And they didn't talk like that, but that's how rich people are supposed to talk. Oh yes, the Rob Report. You won't know of this magazine, Trevor. It's for people like us. So. But they are like seriously important.
Yeah.
Right?
So this year, should I say 2024, January 24, the day before the boat show, we have two pre-events. So during the day, we have the Thailand Yachting Conference, where all of the business is done. All the stakeholders get together and learn from their peers. But in the evening, we've teamed up with the Rob Report Thailand. To run Best of the Best Yachting. So that evening will be a black tie gala dinner, and the Rob Report Thailand will be awarding Best of the Best Yachting to the winners of the awards. And yes, you're right. I mean, Rob Report is a magazine that you buy to find out what is the best of the best.
Yeah, I've read it to find all the things that I will never ever buy. You never know, but it seems unlikely. All right, so that's the boat show. If anyone wants more details on that, then of course you go to paulpool.co.th and get in touch. So the next thing I want to talk about is Gumball. Is that how you say it?
Gumball 3000.
Gumball 3000, right. This is quite exciting because, well, you tell me about it.
Yeah, so actually, if you pick up a copy of Window on Phuket, if you pick up a copy of the Phuket News or the Thailand International Boat Shows show guide, that are all three are out now. There's an article on Phuket's luxury lifestyle events that we put together, talking about TIBS, the Thailand International Boat Show, but also talking about Gumball 3000. So Gumball 3000 is a celebrity rally, car rally.
Right.
And the 3000 is 3,000 miles. That's the distance they drive over the week. And we're very fortunate that in 2024 is the 25th anniversary of the Gumball 3000. And it's starting in Egypt under the pyramids. And the Asian leg starts in Bangkok on the 17th of September. Drives to Phuket for the 18th of September, then down to Langkawi, and then down to Singapore for the Singapore F1.
It just seems so glamorous.
It's
yes, we'll start under the pyramids and then we'll just wind out.
Yeah. So it's a really fun event. Yes, it's full of supercars and full of ultra high net worth individuals.
But this is like social media gold, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, this year's rally, which took place earlier this year, there were 12.3 billion TikTok views of the rally.
Blimey.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's come a long, long way. Actually, I was involved in the first 2 years, in 1999 and 2000, when I was the chief marketing officer at Diesel. Right. And we were the first sponsors of the Gumball Rally, and I actually drove in the early editions of the rally. And
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, and became close friends with Maximilian Cooper, who was the founder of the rally. And yeah, it's great fun event.
And you drove in it?
Yeah, I drove on.
And you lived to tell the tale.
I lived to tell the tale. Yeah, just.
You must have some amazing stories.
Yes,
about
that can't be broadcast.
Oh, go on. All right. If you'd like to get in touch with Paul Pool Southeast Asia Co Limited, you can email us on info@paulpool.co.th, or you can go to the website paulpool.co.th, or you can call us on +66 2622 0605 through to 7. What are the benefits getting involved in that event would have for sponsors? I mean, obviously, we've spoken about the social media, which is just massive global awareness, right? Across a huge, very big demographic, not just the high net worth, but the people who are looking at it are going to be kind of aspirationally minded or just into that event for its, as an enthusiast. So.
Well, let's look at both of those events. I mean, the Thailand International Boat Show and Gumball 3000. Yes, they are for high net worth or ultra high net worth individuals, just by the nature of what they are. There's an ultra.
See, I didn't even know about that.
Really? Are you not an ultra high net worth individual?
Ultra high net worth.
But in terms of the Thailand International Boat Show, there are sponsorship opportunities, including title sponsorship, presenting sponsorship, co-sponsorships. We also have official suppliers and media partners, but we develop packages for local and industry partners. So it means that a local business on Phuket can get involved, or somebody in the marine industry can get involved. And with Gumball 3000, because it's really a global platform, yes, we're looking for global sponsors to sponsor the whole rally, but we've developed packages for local partners. So Thai businesses can get involved in just the Thai leg or the Asian leg. Singapore businesses can get involved in the Singaporean leg, etc. So there's really something for every brand. But obviously it's about best brand fit with both of those events. Right. There's no point in having a brand that doesn't fit the demographic of the participants or the audience. So really, the types of industries that sponsor those events are, financial services, private banking, etc.
Right. Okay, and I don't know, but is there like a social side to those events? Well, I know that there is at the.
Yeah, I mean, but both events. I mean, TIBS or Thailand International Boat Show is very social. I mean, it is about the business. So people are there buying boats, buying luxury goods. But it's on at Royal Phuket Marina, so the boardwalk is bustling.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, a bustling boardwalk, live entertainment every day. Yeah. So great food, great drink. Every evening there are parties. So
stunning location.
All the brokers they throw a party every night. So you can party on the yachts, etc. So it's a really fun social start to the year. I mean, it's one of my favourite events to start the year with. Yeah. Gumball's the same. So Gumball 3000 is a lot of driving, so 3,000 miles, but there are checkpoints and there are activities at the checkpoints. And then every evening when the rally stops, there's a dinner or a party that evening until the next move on to the next destination. So yeah, they're really fun party events.
And the fun isn't just for the high net worth people. I mean, it's like
Actually, for the Thailand International Boat Show, it's open to all.
Right.
So actually, it's free entry to go to the boat show, so you can go and look at the yachts and enjoy the social aspects. Gumball is a private event, so Gumball is only for the 100 cars participating. It's not open to the public, but Gumball have introduced car parades, etc., where the general public can go and see the cars,
cool.
But unfortunately, they can't go and participate in the parties.
Right. It's ultra.
It's ultra.
Right. Okay. Noted. The next one, when I read about this, I thought, okay, here's a meeting I would have liked to have been in a few years ago. We're going to stop the traffic in Bangkok so that people can run, and everyone just went, all right. Let's do. Tell me about this event.
So, mass participation sporting events are hugely important for Thailand, both in terms of local runners, but also people flying in, destination runners that fly in to compete. And we are once again working with Supersports and their Supersports 10 Mile Run Thailand, which takes place in May 26th at Central World. So the start and finish line is at Central World. There are two distances. There's the 10 mile run and the 5 mile run. And this is a road race. So they run on the road very early in the morning, and the traffic is stopped so that they can run. Yes. I mean, we're expecting 8,000 participants at that event. So it's not one of the biggest road races, but it's still a pretty big road race. It's organised by GAA Events, which is the mass participation sporting events company in Thailand. They also organise other events like the Laguna Phuket Marathon and the Laguna Phuket Triathlon. So huge experience in this type of event.
Well, I'm relieved to hear, they don't try and do it in the afternoon.
No, well, one, it's too hot.
Yeah.
And two, there's too much traffic.
Right. I actually know people who've done this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not easy organising these events in Bangkok, in the capital city. So we have, a lot of support from local government, from central government to make this happen. Yeah. But this, for 2024, should I say, this is the first of a series of Supersport 10 mile runs. So we are going to do these 10 mile runs in other locations in Thailand, like Hua Hin, like Chiang Mai, for example.
Chiang Mai would be good in February.
Yeah.
Be nice and cold.
Okay,
I've been there in February. It's cold.
Okay.
It's Europe.
Unfortunately, it's in August, but.
Right. Well, good luck with that, runners. Of which I'm not one. So. We should talk about who's already involved in that, who should be getting involved, and so on. So, do you want to tell me about that?
Sure. So the event on the 26th of May in Bangkok is presented by Adidas. So sporting apparel companies are very important for these mass participation events, but equally important are related products like electrolyte drinks. We have electrolyte partners, similar to Sponsor with the volleyball, but it could be Gatorade, who have historically sponsored.
Right.
But also medical services. This year's Supersports 10 mile run was sponsored by MedPark Hospital, and we expect them to return for the Bangkok event. So it's really best brand fit again. So it's the brands that really relate to the sports and the participants of those sports.
Tell me about that. About this concept of best brand fit. I think it kind of explains itself, but I think it's better coming from you.
Yeah. Well,
how do you work that stuff out?
Okay, so it's a challenge because obviously all of these types of events are reliant on sponsorship. To keep the price down for participants, or if it's a boat show, the exhibitor price down, we have to have sponsors. So with all of the events we represent, we look for best brand fit. So that means we actually really look at the type of activity that we're selling, and actually come up with a target list of brands that we feel would get the most out of the sponsorship. Right. So the brand fits with the event very well, and vice versa. What's really very, very important when putting these targets together is to really understand the event, but also the participants of the event, and really understand the brand. Because when we found through activation activity, when a brand really understands what the event is, and more importantly, who the participants of those events are, they can actually put an activation plan together, which actually is more engaging for that audience, and they then get a better return, whether it's a return on investment or a return on objective.
One sponsor that seemed like what you were just talking about was Jaguar Land Rover and the boat show.
Yeah.
I remember the impact that they had, and I mean I met one of the guys, and he told me that they'd sold quite a few at the event, which I don't know was the specific aim, but what they had was these incredible cars with really knowledgeable and approachable people who would let people, go for a scoot around the beautiful island of Phuket. It doesn't get any better than that, right?
Yeah.
So that seemed like a great example.
I mean, Jaguar Land Rover is a great example of best brand fit. So we actually brought Jaguar Land Rover into a series of events. Jaguar Land Rover sponsored a number of the regattas that we were representing at the time, as well as the boat show that we represented at the time. And how that came about is that, you know, Jaguar Land Rover, obviously, beautiful vehicles, high price point, absolutely the right brand. If somebody can afford a yacht, they can certainly afford a Jaguar Land Rover. But what we looked at is we actually looked at how we could utilize those events for Jaguar Land Rover to sell cars. So some sponsors.
So that was a kind of stated aim as well.
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
Right.
so we always put together KPIs or objectives around a sponsorship. And some brands want to see an absolute return on investment. So, you know, I sponsored for X and I sold X amount of cars. Some brands want to have a return on objective. So it might be somebody's launching a product into the marketplace.
The usual kind of product awareness.
Correct, but also using it to introduce the public to that brand.
And there's also a positional thing, isn't there? You know, how do you view your product in the market?
Yeah.
Therefore, you should be at this sort of...
Correct.
Your name should be known at these events.
But, you know, going back to Jaguar Land Rover, I mean, you know, they really use those events as a backdrop to sell to their clients.
I know.
I mean,
I went on a test drive. I made it very clear that I wasn't in the market for a car.
Just outside.
At the time. But the guy then, just a really great guy, knew everything about that car. You know, and we just went for this wonderful drive around the island, and I thought, blimey, you know, it didn't surprise me that they'd sold some at the event.
I mean, I know the person you're referring to, Richard, and he always had a saying like bums on seats. So if you could get bums on a seat in a car, he would sell the car.
Right.
And I think, you know, at the regattas, in year one, I think we sold a few cars. I think at the end of that series, we were selling 30 cars at each of those regattas. At the last boat show they participated in, I think they sold 7 cars. So it's all about sales in terms of that sponsor. But the perfect brand, because, you know, Land Rover particularly very, very close to sailing. Jaguar, the year that they participated in the boat show, launched the XJ, which actually was actually styled on a yacht. So it was a stunning brand partnership.
That's good. I mean, you know, we were talking about that fit, and to have that practical example, I think will help a lot of people think about, you know, well, what this could be for their business. So I think that's great. Also in the newsletter, you talk about ASN, which is a fascinating addition, and perhaps a whole show could be dedicated to that. Can you give us a brief outline of how businesses can put that to good use?
Okay, well, I think first I need to explain what ASN is. So Asia Sponsorship News, ASN, is the leading resource for analysis, news and insight into the world of sponsorship and brand partnership marketing in Asia and beyond. Why we talk about it is we acquired ASN in September 2022, last year. So Paul Southeast Asia has been the Thai partner of ASN for, I think it's since it existed. It started in 2007, but we actually bought that business at the end of COVID. And the reason we bought that business is that ASN gives us the intelligence and insights to trade faster and with greater transparency. So it helps our business, the core business, to deliver for our clients. So ASN, over the past 15 years, has tracked over 150 billion US dollars worth of sponsorship spend in Asia, and has over 270,000 sponsorship deals across the region within its platform. So essentially, ASN has a weekly newswire, which is free. So brands and rights holders can sign up to receive news directly into their inbox every Monday, with a story each day on what has happened in Asia that day. There's ASN insights and intelligence into that story. So it's basically ASN take on that story.
So it's market analysis.
Correct, yeah. So that's absolutely free. And then ASN has a premium subscription for different tools within the platform. So for as little as $8 a month up to $800 a month, a person can get access to the analysis, the premium tool, where you can actually find out who's sponsoring what, where, and why, and who made that decision. So if you're a European football club, you can find out who's sponsoring European football clubs from here in Asia. You can find out how much they've spent and who made the decision. And more often than not, it will give you the decision maker's contact details as well. So it basically takes away the heavy lifting of somebody selling sponsorship. But on the flip side, if a brand wants to know what its competitors are doing, it can tell you that as well. So we have free news, we have paid tools, but we also have other bespoke services. So we do training, we do consultancy, which usually take the form of a report. And we also do syndicated reports at ASN. And Paul Southeast Asia has actually sponsored all 4 syndicated reports in 2023. We started with the Thailand market analysis. We moved on to Volleyball Asia market analysis. We then did Football Asia market analysis, and we've just launched the Asia market analysis reports, which are free to subscribers. So they get their premium subscribers, so they get that within their premium subscription, or you can buy them from between $500 to $750 per report off the shelf.
Okay, so also in the newsletter, you talk about ASN and football specifically. So perhaps that will help people understand it in a kind of practical example way.
Sure. So yeah, I mean it's outlined in detail in our newsletter, but the third report that we published, or ASN published, and we sponsored as Paul Southeast Asia, was on Football Asia market analysis. So that looked at the top spending brands, the top countries. So it was showing which brands sponsored what and where, and it goes into great detail about what they spent. So it really analysed the marketplace of football. Previously, we did that for volleyball because of our relationship with Volleyball World. We wanted to know who's spending what and where to help us with our work. So these reports are really they're pieces of consultancy. So if you have any interest in football at all in Asia, whether you're a football team wanting to know what brands are sponsoring, or whether you're a brand wanting to know what people are spending on here in Asia, that report tells you. So it's a detailed report really showing you what's going on in the marketplace.
Fantastic.
If you'd like to get in touch with Paul Pool Southeast Asia Co Limited, you can email us on info@paulpool.co.th, or you can go to the website paulpool.co.th, or you can call us on +66 2622 0605 through to 7.
I saw in the newsletter that the 2 sponsorship workshops were sold out. Are they part of ASN?
No, the sponsorship workshops you're referring to are sponsorship part 1 and part 2, which are actually training workshops from Paul Southeast Asia. But ASN does implement training. So if you actually look at ASN as a DIY, so you get your news, you pay for your premium subscription, it really is a DIY platform. You go in and utilize it yourself. But we know that people sometimes don't have the skills or the resource to do that. So ASN trains people how to use the platform. And then the consultancy of ASN is actually doing it for you. So you either do it yourself because you have the skills, we train you to do it yourself so you have the skills, or ASN will actually do the work for you in the form of a report. Sponsorship Part 1 and Part 2 are Paul Southeast Asia's annual training workshops. We only do them once a year, 2 days for rights holders in September and 2 days for brands in September. And how that works is there's 20 different people per day. So 40 rights holders over 2 days, 40 brands over 2 days. And we actually set the workshop based on the people in the room. So we actually develop practical hands-on experiences So if you're a marathon and you want to learn how to package a marathon and sell a marathon, we will use your marathon as the example. So you walk away from that workshop not only listening to your peers, but also with a walk away that actually shows that you how to do it. Same for brands. We will develop a workshop program for those brands, so they can really walk away knowing how to activate those brand partnerships that they're involved in.
And what level of the organisations should be coming to this? I mean, is this for CEOs, or are there other staff who should be attending?
Okay, I mean, it's for everybody with an interest in sponsorship. So it could be rights holders. So the sponsorship manager of a rights holder who's selling sponsorship, or your marketing director of a brand. But it's also for government as well. We have a lot of government employees come from the Sports Authority, for example, to learn from both sides. I mean, also we have people doing both workshops. So it might be a rights holder who wants to learn from a brand point of view to have a greater understanding of what brands are looking for in sponsorship. So it's really for anybody with an interest in sponsorship.
Right. Obviously, full details of that on paulpool.co.th. And finally, and I know there's a whole episode in this, but we'll try and do it justice in the time that we've got left. Influencers are so powerful. I think that every business has to look at it, and if they're not engaging influencers already. You can't deny, how influential influencers are, and that's now a strand of Paul Pool Southeast Asia Co Limited. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so we have to rewind to COVID. So Paul Pool Southeast Asia, we as you know, specialise in sponsorship, but a lot of our sponsorship is event driven. It's not always event driven, but it's predominantly event driven. And we work across sport and non-sport, 80% sport, 20% non-sport. We've touched on a couple of non-sport events today, Gumball 3000 and Thailand International Boat Show. But sport is really the core strand. During COVID, no events. So we were sat there twiddling our thumbs. We didn't close, we didn't stop, we didn't reduce anything. We just battled forward. So we pivoted towards digital rights. So we looked at digital rights and specifically influencers. Here in Thailand and across the region, there are lots and lots of agencies focusing on influencers, but they tend to be lifestyle influencers. And there didn't seem to be anybody focusing on sports or athletes.
Right.
Which
arguably is... I mean, you can name.
Yeah.
Everyone can name, like Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi. In that seems to be the most high profile of the influencer.
Yeah, and an influencer with perhaps more authenticity as well, because
Sure.
they're doing what they love and what they're good at, and the influencer part is kind of secondary to that.
Yeah.
So we looked at. The marketplace, and we ended up buying a license to SportsCred. So SportsCred is a social media sponsorship platform, which monetizes elite and pro athletes' social media.
Right.
So we haven't created an influencer department. We bought a platform. Right. So on one side of the platform, you have your pro and elite athletes. They sign up for free. They have to be pro or elite. They can't be amateur. So on one side of the platform, you have those athletes. On the other side of the platform, you have the brands. And this is a platform. So there's no agency interaction. The brand creates the social media content, selects the athletes they want to run that content, or they might ask those athletes to actually create their own content based on a new product. And the athlete receives a bing on their SportsCred app saying, Brand X wants you to participate in this program. accept or decline. And the system basically works out the correct rate card. So it looks at the athlete's reach, but also trust as well. So it's not just the athlete with the most number of followers. It's also about their trust level. So it looks about into their engagement with their social media following.
This is, I think, when you first told me about this was the most exciting part of it for me, because I think the credibility, not the trust, of that person is really important.
Yep.
Because we all know that numbers of followers can be acquired. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But the actual figures that matter are the engagement.
Yep.
You know.
So the platform gives the brand a true rate card based on number of followers and engagement, the trust level. Okay, and then literally the interactions between the athlete and the brand directly through the app. The athlete gets paid directly through the app from the brand minus a management fee for us managing it, and off they go. So this was an important pivot during COVID. So it really kept us alive for 2 years. And we've carried on with SportsCred post-COVID. So this is one of the tools in our toolbox, or one of the pieces of ammunition, you like it, in our box. And also it filled a hole, or it solved a problem, not filled a hole, solved a problem for us as well, because we get asked a lot from individual athletes, will we represent them in terms of their commercial sponsorship and partnership marketing. And we don't often work with individual athletes in that way, because really the individual athlete isn't really looking for a commercial sponsorship and partnership marketing agency. They're really looking for a manager or an agent, which we're not. Also, quite often, athletes don't really have that much to sell, because they're competing as part of a team, and the team have sponsors, or they're competing in a competition and the competition has sponsors. All they really have that they own is their social media. So this really filled the gap for us. It really solved the issue of turning away athletes, because now when an athlete comes to us, we ask them to join our social media, or our private influencer network. So it's called the Sponsorship Experts Private Influencer Network. We're building that private influencer network up of elite and pro athletes, and it gives those athletes better control over monetizing their own social media. And so many athletes have great following, great trust, but do not know how to monetize their social media.
All right, so that's pretty much all we've got time for today. Thank you. When is the next one?
So the next one will be February, in sync with our February newsletter.
Seeking sponsors, seeking an opportunity to sponsor, looking to maximize an already sponsored opportunity. Visit paulpaul.co.th, the sponsorship experts.